So right now, my menu looks pretty cool, but it doesn't actually do anything. It's not clickable, and there's no rollover effect or anything like that happening. Let me show you how to pull this off, this rollover effect. It's actually really, really easy and straightforward. Go ahead and flip back over to your code, and this actually kind of harks back to something that we discussed way back when we were formatting hyperlinks. Way back when you saw that we could do things like a link and a active and a hover and so on. Well, I'm going to basically use the same idea as an a hover like this, but instead of saying, hey, anytime I hover over top of an anchor, instead what I'm going to say is, hey, anytime I hover over top of a list item. It's pretty awesome, the things that you can pull off with some simple CSS. So inside these squiggly brackets, I would simply throw in the CSS properties that I want to have happen or trigger whenever someone moves their mouse over top of a list item. So what I'm going to say here, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to say, hey, I want to throw on a background of white here. I'm keeping it pretty simple. And I want to change the color of the text inside the button. Maybe I'll keep it super simple. I'll change it to black. That's it. That's all I want to do. Save this guy up, back over to the browser and refresh. And now when I move my mouse over top of these buttons, I'm getting this super awesome CSS rollover effect. There's no graphics being used here at all. This is all CSS, which is fantastic. Okay. Now, what about setting hyperlinks? Well, that's easy. All I need to do is go back down into my code and look for my list items, and then simply set hyperlinks for each of the pieces of text for each of the list items themselves. So drop my cursor in there and go open angle bracket A, href. We've seen this a few times. Equals, and then in quotes, some kind of URL, or maybe I'll throw in a dummy link there, just a number sign. And then after the text, throw in your closing anchor tag, just like that. That's really all there is to it. So it's super easy to set up this CSS rollover effect.